All right, time once again for another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com and on the 1010XL app. I'm in the 1010XL studios, man, and like we always are, each and every Tuesday and Friday, different time and slot and day to day. Of course, not only is it a big week in the NFL sports world, very big in the golf world as TPC descends upon us around here in Jacksonville, and 1010XL, of course, is all over it. And so we adjust our time and what we do. So Grammage is here to, of course, the show brought to you by Team Tommy Mack, a group of businesses here locally and regionally that I personally endorse and am proud to do it. We'll talk about them throughout the week. Let's say hello to Grammage. What's up, Grammage? How you doing?
Good morning, sir. Bright and early.
I normally don't get a text from you at the time you send me a text yesterday. Like, you don't text me on Sundays. Like, right. It's early in the morning, right? Hey, you want to come in this time? What time?
Yeah.
So I was like, text from Grammage on a Sunday afternoon, early evening.
I was being productive yesterday.
You were, man.
I was walking out the gym when I sent you that text.
Okay.
And I went for it's cold today, but it was really nice yesterday. It was like 70 and sunny.
Yeah.
Right after the gym, went and took a walk.
Nice.
So, I was being productive, and I was just thinking about my week, and I was like, I'm not going to be in the station like at all tomorrow.
Right.
So it's like sent you a text because I knew I've got this new thing now. I'm like the most forgetful person ever.
Okay.
I cannot remember things.
Okay.
So I've got this new thing where when I remember something, I do it right then and there because I will forget no matter what.
It's good habit to create.
So like, I'll text Tommy now. It's going to be 11 p.m. and I'm going to forget to text him.
No, right.
He's going to be in REM cycle 2 by that point.
You know it. We were just talking about what time we go to bed. He's like midnight. I'm like, midnight? Holy cow, man. No. I mean, if we're out, I stay awake, of course, but not when it's time to shut down. I shut it down, no question about that. All right, of course, lots to get into. Breaking news yesterday. Where were you when the news came out? I was just wrapping up brunch with the family. I make a great brunch. I love cooking brunch. Don't always love cleaning it up, but I do that as well. That's just what I like to do on Sundays. And boom, because we had the, my wife loves watching Good Morning Jacksonville, and then it goes into Today and all that. And then Sundays it goes into like CBS This Morning. I'm like, or whatever, NBC This Morning or whatever it's called. I'm like, let's put on Sports Center. I got to see some sports in this household. And boom, breaking news. I was like, whoa, now that's weird. And we're going to get into it today. And I know a lot of people out there, and I'm not saying it's a bad move at all, but we're going to talk about it. What do I always say, Grammage? Nothing in the NFL happens without a reason. And I don't think trading for Mac Jones, I don't care about the pick, doesn't mean nothing to me. I don't care what it was. The fact that you targeted a former first rounder in the same draft class as your starter, who's been a starter, a Pro Bowler, and you go and target that to be your starter's backup. Kind of odd for me. Like there's look, I could understand a journeyman, like Blaine Gabbert 8 years ago. If you were telling me, hey, Blaine's coming here to settle the kid down, be a calm, because what is the backup? It's not just to replace the starter when he gets hurt. It's to be that calming force, that backup, that helps him see things, notice things, learn from things that maybe he's not catching. That's what a backup is. I know a lot of people out there are like, well, you can step right in. Well, guess what? This is a targeted thing by them because, they scouted him in 21. He was one of the top 5 QBs coming out of college. They must like his skill set, and they must feel like he could be a fit for their offense, or you don't make this trade for a specific guy like Mac Jones. Grammage, what was your first thoughts when you heard it? By the way, Dale, thank you he says maybe push, if Trevor needs pushing, that's an issue. Anyway, go ahead.
My first thought was, why?
Good question.
Like you said, nothing in the NFL happens without reason. As somebody who agrees with that, what's the reason? Why? And I don't agree with the push Trevor thing.
Me neither.
The only thing I can think of is, particularly last year and in the last couple of years, we've really seen how important it is to have a backup QB you believe in. Perhaps last year, part of the reason Trevor played through so many of his injuries was they didn't have faith in CJ Beathard to play multiple games.
They meaning the Jags or Trevor?
Maybe both.
You think they went to Trevor with his ankle and his knee and said, hey, Trev, you got to play this week because we don't think Beathard's any good. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think, you know what I mean? Like, do you think that went down like that?
I don't know if it went down literally like that, but
it didn't. It didn't.
I don't think anyone like literally said that, but it might have been one of those things where we're all kind of thinking Trevor's got to play if we want to have a chance to win. So we all kind of just went forward with it. I mean, I don't know. We're not in the locker room for sure, but that's the only thing I can think of is that in terms of the player, they believe Mac Jones is a substantial upgrade.
Yep.
So, and they're seeing within their own locker room and throughout the league how important it is to have a backup quarterback that you believe in to go play for 2 to 3 weeks and win games if needed.
Okay. You think Mac's coming here to be the backup?
Yes.
What's he going to do? So what's the strategy? Because I saw something online too. Oh, we bring him in for a year, reignite his thing, and then go get him for a fourth. Send him off for a 4th-round pick. We'll go from a 6th to a 4th. That's not happening either. That's not going to happen. So, look, again, backups are brought in to support the starter. That's what Mac would, and I'm sure he's still. And for the record, I'm not saying that he's here to replace Trevor. I'm not saying that at all. It's just odd that you would target a former first-rounder in the same draft class and go trade for him. That means you've been looking at him like they're sitting around a table. I wonder what we could get Mac Jones for. Remember, we scouted him. We liked him. Maybe he could fit, if Trevor gets hurt. What if Trevor keeps fumbling? What if, and I'm just speaking out loud here, okay? But what if Mac Jones is an insurance policy? If Trevor continues to fumble or whatever, turn the ball over too much for Doug's liking, or not making the throws for my whatever the case may be, we got a backup that can come in and run the offense. And maybe, guess what? He replaces the starter. I'm not saying that's going to happen. We all know Trevor didn't have the best year last year. He's got to be better, especially with holding on to the football. Again, nothing happens without reason in the NFL. This was a targeted move. And whatever makes you feel better out there, that's great. It's all good, man. I want Trevor to have a monster year. Let me ask you this, because I know my response. What do you think Trevor felt when he heard Mac Jones is coming? You think at all he said, why? You know what I mean? Even to just himself? Come on, it's a first-round pick in the he was picked, 15 later? He was 15th, right? I don't even know if I like Mac Jones. His best year was his rookie year, and Josh McDaniels was his OC.
And he was babied as much as a QB can possibly get babied.
And they simplified the offense. Remember, we talked about it was known up there. They'd split the field vertically in half, and he'd go deep to short on either side. He never had to go over to the other side, and he made plays doing it.
And they ran the ball a lot.
They did.
Ramondre Stevenson, who was having a great year that
year. Great year. Well, and McDaniels is not a good head coach. He's a good offense coordinator.
Wasn't it
my opinion.
Wasn't it when the Bills game? They played the Bills, and I think they won that year, and they only threw it like 5 times or something crazy.
Yep.
You know what game I'm talking about? There was some game where they threw the ball like less than 10 times in a game.
Right.
And they won.
Right.
And that was a team that went to the playoffs. So it was like the thought was, look at how good Mac Jones is. It's like they're not asking him to do anything.
No. They weren't. But he was successful that year.
Yeah.
But we know what happens with rookie QBs. You got to wait till the next year. You got to see what happens after an off season of game planning against that kid and seeing if he can, beat the game plan.
And we also know as well you know, most fans that are like really into it, like
Yep.
like I am, and most people, and then you obviously played, so you really are next level of this. But like, we can all tell when a QB is really playing well because he's being babysat and the offense is catering to him, not having to do a lot, versus the training wheels are off and they're really going through a ton of like CJ Stroud. The training wheels were off.
Oh, he dove head first.
He was like,
but he handled it.
He was doing things that 7-8 year guys do.
No, right.
Whereas when Mac was really successful his season, he was just babysat the entire season.
I'm not even know if I really like Mac Jones as a player. You know what I mean? I don't really know him as a person, but I don't know if he's that good. I have no idea. All I know is, you know, you go and trade. It'd be different if he was a free agent. You know, I don't know. It just seemed very odd that you would do this move at this time. Let me ask you this: if Trevor didn't struggle last year, and you can give me every excuse you want, whatever it is, injuries, you know, he didn't practice, which has some validity, whatever it is. If he had a better year, let's say better, and if he had a better year, you could make a case that they would have made the playoffs. Not just him. You could say that about every position pretty much, or position group on that team. But what if he had a similar year to the year before? And the team, you know, whatever, made the playoffs for a game or two, or whatever the case may be. You think they're looking for that kind of a backup that's never really been a backup? You know what I mean? What's my backup he's supposed to support? Well, Mac, how many games have you really supported the quarterback after you got beat out? Like, did you really support him? Were you really a good backup? Or were you just eager waiting for your next chance to be a starter?
He was a backup for a long time in college.
Yeah.
Well, that's not. Obviously, he hasn't in the league because he was a first-round pick.
You're a first-round pick in the NFL, and you have success your first year, and now you're just going to be a backup. I'll tell you this: nothing happens without reason, right? Why did they bring Riley Patterson in at the end of the year? The kicker.
Because McManus is expensive.
Because McManus wasn't that great this year.
He was missing kicks, yeah.
Because he's missing kicks. He's making kicks. They don't care how expensive he is.
He was automatic through about halfway through the season.
I know.
Well, he missed that kick. He missed that Bengals kick.
Yeah,
that probably would have won that game.
That's right.
And he was never really right.
Was that windy? Which was a real windy one? So I didn't fault them.
I think the wind was the week after in Cleveland.
In Cleveland, it was, yeah. Because that one time it just took the ball away. But they don't make that move if they're not happy with their kicker, right? If he's making kicks, they're thinking about extending him.
Yeah.
Why'd we bring him here? To make the long bombs. 60 yards, come on, no problem. I'll make them all day long. But ended up at 80%. That's not good enough for that kind of contract, that kind of guy. I don't know. I mean, look, again, Trevor's our guy, and maybe this lights a fire. And by the way, if he needs to have a fire lit, there's an issue there for me too. Like, I don't think he does. I think that guy's a self-starter. I don't think he needs, because for the record, he'll be looking over his shoulder. He'll be looking over, no matter what they tell him, no matter what they say publicly, Trevor will. And that first fumble that happens, if it happens, knock on wood. Sorry. Oh, knock that picture. Sorry, Gator fans. I didn't mean that. I'll put it back after the show. You don't think that's going to go through his head? It is. It will. Trust me, it will. I'll tell you this, very not parallel, but maybe a tinge of close to what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about here. In 97, or maybe it was, maybe it was 99. 97 or 99. Remember the linebacker Andy Katzenmoyer out of Ohio State? You remember that name? Andy Katzenmoyer? Ended up going to the Pats. The Pats drafted him. He was the highest rated middle linebacker in the draft, and he was projected to go in the first round. And we were at the 27th pick, so it must have been, because we would have been 11-5, so right around 20. Yeah, so that's about, so probably 98 draft, 97 draft. Whatever draft, no, because Ronaldo Wynn was the guy taken. So anyway, he was sitting there at 27, and they passed him. Because they had me and Brian Schwartz. We were going to battle it out, and Coffin felt comfortable with I don't need to upgrade that position. Great player, but I don't need him. And they drafted Ronaldo Wynn, who ended up having a great career. And we need a defensive end. So I'm not comparing, but that's what I'm saying. That things don't happen without a reason, right? If he would have brought in Katzenmoyer, I'm probably gone. Probably, hey, Tom, we'll give you a chance to make special teams or something like that, but I'd probably be gone because Schwartz was a second-round pick. He wasn't going anywhere. You know what I mean? Nothing happens without reason. Look, I hope this just makes Trevor better. That's my hope. I hope it makes him better. However that is, that Mac's a good backup, that Mac's really there to support him, or that they are going to, are they going to compete in training camp? I don't think so. That would be. If I hear that, then they don't really believe in number 16 because that just is crazy to me.
If you want fans to arrive with pitchforks at training camp, just say that it's a competition. But I don't think it has as much to do with Trevor as I think you might think. I think it has more to do with they've seen around the league how important it is to have a backup quarterback that you believe in, not just to be a support system for the starter, but to be able to play. They saw what happened with Jake Browning with the Bengals.
Who beat us.
Who got in the game.
Because we couldn't get any pressure on him.
Who got in the game and balled his ass off.
Because he sat back there with nobody in his face.
Right. But he still did. He still carved us up.
I know.
I believe that they felt like they needed to upgrade the player at backup quarterback. That's my thinking as to why they did this. And they think that Mac Jones is a substantial upgrade in terms of going on the field and playing the position. And they felt that Beathard has really been here the last couple of years because he's Trevor's guy and to be his support system more so than he's a really good player to step in when needed. My problem is I don't know that Mac Jones is better than CJ Beathard.
Yeah.
Mac Jones had that Pro Bowl season his first year, like we said, and he was babysat like crazy.
Yep.
This past season, he was like unplayably bad.
Yeah.
And there were more reasons than there were a lot of things
he
going on.
He was under the same gun as Trevor.
Right. I'm not saying it's all his it's not all Mac's fault, but some of it is.
Yeah.
A decent amount of it is.
Of course, it always is part of the quarterback's fault.
Granted, to be fair, we've never really seen a big sample size of it, a big enough one to really know either way. But I felt like every time CJ Beathard has come into play, he's stepped up and been just fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's a fine backup. And the number one role of the backup, I've already said, it's not to play. It's to give your QB some comfort, to be a good support person for him, to be there for him, to help him out, to make him better. Let me ask, okay, I don't have the list of potential free agent quarterbacks out there. You tell me there's not a couple out there that you don't have to trade for? And again, I don't care about the pick. It's that this is a targeted move. It's not that Mac's going to be a great backup. We don't know what kind of backup he's going to be. He's a guy whose skill set we like. We only got him for a year, so let's see what he has. And we think maybe he fits our offense. And yeah, Trevor's our guy, no doubt about it. But if Trev falters and we like what Mac does, then we put Mac in. Well, I mean, to think that those conversations don't happen at all or didn't happen for this trade, you're crazy. You're crazy. Because I don't know. You go look around. I don't know how many free agent guys there are out there. But you're telling me there's no one that you didn't have to trade for? A first-round pick in the same class. Look, man, I hope it's the right move for the Jags' sake, that it's good for the organization, that it just makes us better. Look, I wish Trevor well and Mac, whatever you bring to the table, hopefully it's good stuff. And you make our quarterback better because that is the job, no question about it. All right, something else that popped up. Chris Jones of the Chiefs got a monster deal. Now, it's a 5-year deal. I don't know the total number. I don't think it's come out yet, but it's $95 million in guaranteed money. I'm not paying Josh Allen anywhere near that kind of money. I did say that. I said, 150, 5-year, $150 million, $100 million guaranteed. He's not anywhere near the type of player Chris Jones is, in my opinion. And I know they play different positions, but Chris Jones plays all over the line. He can go anywhere and dominate. We saw him do it here to our offensive line that they're bringing back. Of course, Ezra wasn't out there at that time, so we'll give them a little slack. But he destroyed our offense, one-man crew. He destroyed our season when Nick Foles got hurt. If you remember that, that was Chris Jones that landed on him and broke his clavicle. He's been terrorizing us for years. Anyway, he gets a big deal. So what this means to me, again, back to the nothing happens in the NFL without reason, Josh Allen's camp must be asking for some significant close to that kind of money, if not more. And if I'm the Jags, I don't think I'm paying that. That's why they tagged him. They couldn't find common ground on the value. And or they would have had a deal done. It's not offset language, it's money. How much you think I'm worth? I want to be here. We don't see you there. We see you there. Well, let's go back to the table, see what else. Okay, we see you here now. You know, they go back and forth. But that's a tough one. Chris Jones is probably the best defensive lineman in the game today. Throw Aaron Donald as 1A, 1B. I don't know. But he's clearly one of the greatest defensive linemen to ever play this game. And to me, I don't know. I think that's what the problem is with the Josh Allen deal. And everyone wants to give Balky grief, just pay him, or you should have started early. It doesn't matter how many weeks early they would have started or should have started if they're nowhere near the same value. That's why they went to the tag. What you got, my man?
I was going to say the Chiefs, just looking at the terms of
the total deal,
Chris Jones's contract and like how it breaks down yearly.
Yep.
They're clearly really going on, and obviously, but they're clearly really going all in on trying for this three-peat.
Absolutely.
Because Chris Jones's cap hit this year is nothing.
Yeah.
His base, with this contract he just got, his base salary in 2024 is only $1.25 million.
Perfect.
And his cap hit is only 7.3 for this year, which is nothing.
Right. Yeah. After making 28 last year.
Yeah.
He'll be good.
His cap hit next year?
Yeah.
$34.8 million.
Yeah, wow. Well, the guaranteed money is what is really important.
And the year after is $41 million.
Yeah.
So this is the year that they're going to get Chris Jones for cheap as hell, and they're obviously going all in on this three-peat.
$95 million is not cheap as hell. That's guaranteed money. That's
no. I'm saying
guaranteed.
I'm saying the way it breaks down, what they owe him in 2024 is cheap as hell.
Got you.
And how it breaks down.
Right. And it helps them build their team this year.
Right. Yeah, this move actually saves them money for 2024.
Brilliant.
They're going to have to pay the piper after that.
Right. Well, if you remember last year, he held out, and they ended up signing him to a one-year deal for like $28.5 million.
It was like basically a franchise tag deal they paid him last year.
Exactly. So I think that's where the rubber's meeting the road here in Jacksonville. You know, and I'm not going to tell Josh what the value to go in at, but, when I look at Chris Jones, I don't see Josh Allen. But when I look at Chris Jones, I don't see many others. That guy is ridiculous as far as talented.
Well,
and production.
But, I mean, you just said it. The Chiefs and Chris Jones had a big dispute last year.
Yeah.
To the point where he didn't even play week one. He was up in the booth.
Yeah, that's right.
In week one.
Yep.
And again, the deal that got done was basically a franchise tag.
Yeah.
Because it's a one-year deal. And Chris Jones bet on himself. He said, all right, that's fine.
Yep.
Let me just go ball my ass off and help us win another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And now he's breaking the bank.
Yep.
So what if Josh Allen and his camp decide to do that? Because
doing a one-year deal, you mean?
What's the main reason? I agree with you that Josh Allen is not Chris Jones.
Yep.
What's probably the main reason we'd say that?
Inconsistent play.
Correct.
Yep.
It's because this past season, I've got 1 year of that.
Yep.
And then I had a good rookie season out of him. Those years in between.
2 years ago, he was vanishing from games.
Right.
He was not. His name wasn't even being called.
Right. Exactly.
And not just one game, for the record.
And I'm sure the Jaguars, I'm sure that's part of their conversation.
Yeah.
So, what if Josh Allen says, all right, fine.
Yep.
Let me just go kick everybody's ass for another year. bet on myself, make a ton of money, by the way, in that one season, because it's a lot of money, but I'll bet on myself. I'll have another year, and then by the end of next year, you're going to have no choice but to pay me crazy money.
And I agree with that. I mean, that's a great plan for him and a great idea by you, because if you're not going to pay me today, fine. I'll bet on myself another year, and I'm going to get another 15-plus sacks, and I'm going to be a terror in the backfield. And guess what? The Jags will be happy to pay him. I mean, that's the – look – again, nothing happens without reason. Their concern is what? That he goes back to the prior 3 years that were 22, 21, and 20. They weren't that great. He was average.
He'll have a 3-sack game.
Right.
And then you don't hear from him for 6 weeks.
Correct.
Now, the flip side of that, though, of the Chris Jones thing is Unique Ngakoue. Remember Unique Ngakoue had the contract disputes with the Jaguar and it turned real ugly and he decided to bet on himself?
And lost.
He never ended up being even close to the money the Jaguars wanted to pay him. They wanted to pay him like $20 million a year. He thought that wasn't enough. Or maybe
it was 18. It was about 18.
They wanted to pay him 18, and he wanted like 20.
He wanted, that was, how long ago was that?
That was, I want to say that was 2019 offseason.
Okay, so after Josh's rookie year, he lost Calais and...
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he did. And Ngakoue. That's tough.
But he bet on himself.
Yeah.
He said, let me do this again. You're going to have no choice but to pay me.
Yep.
And it'll probably be even more. But by the end of that season, he had been on 2 different teams.
Right.
And he was never going to get that again.
Yep.
Ever. And he never will.
No. And so, he's made plenty of money. He's fine.
So it's a risk.
He didn't lose, but he lost money on the table. He left money on the table.
So it's a risk for sure. And by the way, you know this. Every NFL player believes in themselves to ball the hell out.
Right.
Their aversion to betting on themselves like that is the risk of getting hurt.
Yeah. Well, and I think I never had one, but the insurance policies they take out if they get hurt are significant.
Yeah.
So I never needed to do that. Never big enough money player to have an insurance policy.
What's the Russell Wilson thing?
Yeah, right.
The injury guarantee was the whole reason.
How about him going to Pitt? Did you see that?
I know.
1-year deal. Okay, I like Tomlin. Will be no nonsense.
That's a perfect fit.
Yeah, I think so too.
Fit. Because, Mike Tomlin is no nonsense.
Yep.
I don't know about Sean Payton, man. He's a great coach, but
he's got an ego.
I got this whole vibe all year that Sean Payton was no nonsense and Sean Payton was going to set him straight and all that. But you almost got the sense that Sean Payton liked that everyone saw him that way. You know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? It was almost like he's like, hell yeah, I am tough. I am hard on my players. And he kind of got caught up in it too. Mike Tomlin, I think, is actually more of just a genuine tough coach.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I think Sean Payton's a good coach, but I think Mike Tomlin, they're in Pittsburgh. It's less sexy. It's just in Pittsburgh.
It's all ball.
Pittsburgh doesn't. It's all ball. They're not going to owe him anything.
No, I know.
Dude, he's so
Denver,
cheap,
you guys are idiots. I mean, he's going to have $38 million in cash that you owe him for this year. The Broncos owe Russ Wilson because I think he signed him for $1 million or so. We'll detract that of the $39 million, and the rest is straight cash, homie. That's pretty sweet. Good for Russell.
If I'm the Steelers, I'm saying, hell no, I'm not paying you more. You guys got it.
Yeah,
you guys pick up this tab.
Yeah. Enjoy that tab. Enjoy thank you for the free dinner.
Right, exactly.
You know, but that was a interesting one. How about Baker Mayfield betting on himself and winning cha-ching? And oh my God, nice deal. $50 million guaranteed, a 3-year deal, $100 million. Typically, those quarterbacks, unless they really crap down their leg, they see that money. But again, the guaranteed money, $50 million. I saw someone wrote on Twitter, it was like a year and a half ago, he was scout team defensive end for Carolina or something like that, right? Now here he is leading. I think it's a good move. You bring him, Mike Evans back. I know Wirfs. I saw that Tristan Wirfs tweeted out. They're very excited that Baker Mayfield is back in Tampa, and good for him for winning. You know, he did. He bet on himself, and he won. And now he's not that he wasn't set for life, but now he is set for life. People don't like Russell. I thought Russell Wilson had a pretty decent year last year. It's not maybe the best year, but compared to the year before. I mean, look, again, my problem with Russell, and I don't know if it all settled down. To me, he seems like he's more worried about his brand than being the best QB out there. I do think Peyton, because he said, hey, man, you can't have all these personal coaches and hanging around this facility. That just is not going to work. Maybe he was a little tough on him. And I thought Russell responded fine, but whatever. You got to move on, and they're moving on. And this is a chance for Russell Wilson to resurrect his once extremely promising NFL career. And when we look back, we'll be like, hey, he was a good quarterback. It's not like we're going to be like, he was no good. I think it'll be interesting. I've always liked Mike Tomlin. I like his attitude, man. He keeps those players real, not getting up in the clouds and reading the press clippings and things like that. So we'll see if Russell Wilson can get it done up there.
We were talking about it on our podcast last week, Dylan, Denmark, and I, Pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Is Russell Wilson the biggest fall from grace in NFL history? Now, excluding guys that have gotten like legal trouble and stuff. No, I'm not counting those guys.
Yeah, I don't know, fall from grace, but you could tell he was really into his image after Seattle, even the last year or so. He was really, really. Every picture you saw of him, he looked awesome. He was dapper. He had the jewels. He had the coats. He had everything. He even when he's hanging out with his kids, it feels like there's a photographer right there. It's all like building the brand instead of, all I care about is football. The brand's going to come anyway. You're going to get your deals. I'm not saying you don't take, advertise marketing deals. Of course you do. But football's still got to be number one, especially when you're a QB, man. A lot goes into that position. It's got to be number one.
Think about when there was a point in time in Seattle in like 2018, 2019 range where when you were talking best quarterbacks in football, you were saying like Brady and Mahomes.
Yeah.
And after those two names, you weren't going to say more than one or two names after that without saying Russell Wilson.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
And at the time as well, he was viewed as a great teammate, this great person, this awesome, and I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
No, I know.
I'm not saying that at all, but just viewed as kind of like this model citizen of the NFL type of dude.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And now it's like bad teammate, bad leadership, thinks he's above the team, the brand, like you said, like all this stuff. And the whole thing, having your office, having a private office with what the hell? All that stuff.
Yep.
And now, remember last year was doing the high knees and the lunges on the plane.
Yeah,
all that weird stuff.
Somebody film me.
Right.
I'm gonna build my TikTok tonight.
Now he's kind of like a laughing stock, man.
Yeah,
in terms of that stuff.
Well, now what didn't he 26 and 7, a touchdown, an interception, something like that? I thought he had a pretty good year last year for the Broncos. In that regard,
I'm not
I thought
sure.
it was somewhere around there. Maybe you could check that out. Regardless, he's got a chance to resurrect his career. What do you think, Kenny? How does Kenny Pickett feel today? Do you think?
Not great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 26 and 8.
Yep, 26 and 8. Good call, Tommy Mack. See, that brain's still working. All right. Also, I saw Eric Armstead is going to be released, the stud defensive tackle from San Francisco, due like $18.5 million this year. He wouldn't take a pay cut, and he's going to be set free. That's a bulky pick from San Fran, Eric Armstead. Wouldn't mind that for a year or two. He's a beast inside. He's not going to give you a ton of sacks, but he's a beast to help your entire defensive line out for the right money. But that's an interesting. It's going to get interesting today. So it's illegal tampering. It's so stupid. It's like daylight savings. It's so dumb. Just leave it now. Just leave the light on later. That's all I'm asking. So dumb. Farmers, I don't know what you think today, but I think they're thinking about farmers from the 1800s. You know what I mean? It's time to move on. But this period of legal tampering, just let them talk. The agents are talking. You don't think the agent Agent goes to agent, agent goes to GM, agent goes back to, or GM goes back to agent, agent goes back to player. Hey, these 3 teams are interested in you. How do you hear this stuff already? Like, oh, there were 4 teams interested in Mac Jones. How do you know? Well, because they were talking, they made inquiries, right? Maybe not directly to the player, but it's just so dumb. Like, just pick a date, that's fine. What's today? The 11th? Go. Free agency starts. Why do I need 24 hours or 48 hours of legal tampering? It's just so stupid. It's just so dumb.
By the way, there was 1 team interested in trading for Mac Jones.
I know. Well, they said 4 teams made inquiries, Jags included, but only 1 made the offer.
We're very good at negotiating against ourselves.
I was shocked. I mean, I wasn't shocked, but I was definitely surprised. I'm like, why? I don't get the why, you know. And I know, look, everybody wants Trevor to be this superstar QB, and he can be. I mean, he has shown glimpses of it. He's also shown glimpses of not good football play. And I'm not just talking the fumbles. I'm talking some of the missed throws. Drops are there. I know.
We have breaking news.
Okay.
I apologize.
No problem.
We're breaking news on catching up with Tommy Mack. According to Mike Garafolo, the Jaguars have agreed to terms with center Mitch Morse on a 2-year, $10.5 million deal with $7 million guaranteed.
Nice. Good pickup. And a good fit, you know, as far as looks like financially, right? Not breaking the bank. Give him a 2-year deal. See if he can come in and beat out. Well, he's your starter now. Unless he's playing guard. I don't think he is. You just redid your guards, right? What was Brandon Scherf's? I saw that he got his full year this year guaranteed. Is that? But then took a pay cut. Is that correct? Scherf?
Say that again.
He restructured his deal to stay, which is good.
Yes.
I'm happy for him. I hope he has a bounce back year. That old line's got to get back to some nitty gritty, man. Get down and dirty. Mitch Moore seems like that kind of guy coming from Buffalo. Man, how about that? Playing in Buffalo with all that cold to come down to Jayville. He'll never leave. He'll never leave. It happens to a lot of us, man. You're just not going to leave this beautiful place. But a great signing. You know, I don't know if he's the best center out there, but he'll fit. He'll be tough. He'll be physical. He can move pretty well. So he's athletic. And look, we needed an upgrade. And again, and I don't care what they say in press conferences, but this is why you keep press conferences. You take them with a grain of salt, right? What did they say in the press conference? No, Fortner. No, we're happy with Fortner. No, he's our guy. And then people are like, oh, we got to get the guards better, and then Fortner will be better, which is so silly, but whatever. And then here we are. Mitch Morse is now our center. They'll say all the right things. Hey, it's competition, whatever. We need good linemen. What else are we going to hear? He fits the culture, which is good. You have to fit the culture. But I like the signing. I think it's a good move. And let's see what else we can do.
I am a big fan of his aesthetic.
Yeah.
Bald, big beard.
Yeah.
He looks like he hunts his own dinner.
Yeah. He looks like that Liver King dude, but, bald. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
the dude that eats the raw meat and stuff.
That's the type of dude I need on
That
my
guy's
line.
so jacked up on juice. I mean, he thinks eating liver makes him all jacked up like that. That's crazy. But good job on the breaking news, Grammage. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
That's a big one.
Absolutely.
And we're going to – so they agreed to terms, but I guess he could – he was released, so you can talk to him when they're released.
Yeah,
right.
He's not under contract with the Bills anymore.
Yeah, okay. Good move. All right. We got to like that one, right? Give Balky some props, I guess, for pulling that off. I'd like to see a D lineman in there somewhere. If you can't get Christian Wilkins, I would give Eric Armstead a 2-year deal, depending on what that is. You got to beef up the interior. They did it on the O with Mitch Morse. Good move. Not letting him get out of Dodge without at least agreeing to turn. So, good. Hey, man, they talked about being more physical. Let me ask you this, Grammage. What do you think Fortner's feeling like today?
Not great. I think it's this is the week of current players on a current roster not feeling so great.
Feeling that great. Like, okay.
This week and then draft week.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Can we go back to our original thought about this Mac Jones trade, right? you understand why they brought in Mitch Morse, right?
Because Luke Fortner can't play.
Right. And then you look at Mac Jones, like, why at first? He's the best backup out there? Again, I'm not saying he's here to replace Trevor. I'm not. But you don't make this move without thinking, we need somebody that can, play our offense and run our offense. And if Trevor's hurt or Trevor's not playing well, whatever it is, we need somebody that we can thrust in there and run the offense. Kenny, I don't know. I don't know why you targeted Mac Jones. I don't know how good he is. I don't know how bad he is either. And this isn't personal to the family out there. I know they're local. But I don't know. They must feel like he's a fit, right? They must feel like he's a fit, or they don't trade for him. And again, I don't care about the pick. Pick means nothing to me. 6th round, whatever. That means nothing.
I don't.
It's more that you targeted a former first-round draft pick in the same class as your current quarterback. To me, that's just weird. Like, why? Why would you do that? I don't know. Maybe there's 0 free agent quarterbacks out there that can be a backup, that'll come in and help your team, help your quarterback, help your number 1 pick in the draft become the kind of quarterback that we all think he can become. And again, he's got to hone it in. And they do this for pushing Trevor. Do I got to ignite Trevor? If I got to ignite Trevor, that's another problem.
I don't believe in the ignite.
I don't either.
I don't take a lot of stock in that.
But I also don't, believe they just said, hey, Mac's better than CJ, and when Trevor goes down, he'll be better. I don't
see. That's what I believe. I think that's what's going on here. I think Trevor had a bunch of injuries last year.
But your backup QB's first responsibility is not to play.
But this year, a lot of them did have to play. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think this year...
Get better on... Well, they did with Mitch Morse, so protect them better.
Yeah.
Invest in that.
I agree with you.
It's weird. It just seems odd that you would target a QB in the same draft class as your starter.
I agree with you that the backup quarterback's main job is not to play.
Yeah.
But my point is, this past season, we saw so many backups have to step in and play.
Yeah.
That I believe that around the league, because that's been kind of a big talking point, is this past year was the year of the backup. How many backups came in and had to play serviceable minutes to keep their team's season alive?
Yeah.
And I think the Jags were looking at that and saying, I think we need to upgrade the player at that position. And they think Mac is an upgrade at the player, even though CJ has been a very good calming presence for Trevor and everything we've talked about. Maybe he hasn't.
We think he has, but maybe he really has.
I would tend to think he has, because Trevor's always liked CJ.
Yeah.
CJ's been here for a reason.
So CJ was good enough to start against Carolina because they sucked.
Yeah.
But
that's
nobody
what I'm saying.
else.
We don't... I have felt like
nobody else.
I have felt like every time Beathard has stepped in, he's been fine.
Yeah.
The sample size isn't huge. Maybe they don't like what they see in practice.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he was under the same pressure that Trevor was under, so the line sucked for him too.
Correct.
Right? All right, well, get your seatbelts on because it's going to be a fun day. I'll tell you that. I know we're not going to be in here tomorrow, but I may jump on at home or something and jump on Facebook if anything really cool happens. It's a great time of the year, of course, with the NFL and the Players' Championship. Don't know if I'm going to make it out this year, but if I did, then if I do, I hope to see you out there. Business as usual this week, of course, The Horse's Mouth Thursday. Love that show where everybody has a chance to tell their story with a seat at my bar. Jaguars today on Friday. They're going to be out at the Players. I may make that show. I don't know yet. If not, you'll see me all over social media. I want to thank Team Tommy Mac. Great businesses. Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds, J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling, Graffiti Burger Bar, Azar Sausage, Carpet Man Flooring, Solomon Ventures, Code Ninjas. Get your kids into camp. Michael Nick, your State Farm. Beachside Rentals. And, of course, 1010 XL. All right, there you have it. It's going to be a fun day. So strap on your seatbelts and get ready for some action. Mitch Morse, center of Buffalo, is your new Jacksonville Jaguar. He will upgrade the center position for your hometown team. So good move so far. Let's see what else happens today and all throughout the rest of the week as free agency starts in a couple days. Actually, it started. So let's rock and roll. Let's LFG and get out of here. Have a great day, everybody. Peace and love out there. Go Jags. We'll see you next time right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack.